The story of Virgil Abloh and the creation of Off-White is one of the most compelling narratives in the intersection of fashion, art, culture, and music. It is a story that begins with a young man who grew up in Illinois, far from the traditional capitals of luxury design, and ends with his name becoming synonymous with innovation and disruption in the global fashion industry. The origins of Virgil Abloh are rooted in curiosity, creativity, and cultural vision, and the birth of Off-White reflects a bold reimagining of what clothing could mean in the modern era. Virgil Abloh was born on September 30th, 1980 in Rockford, Illinois, to parents who had immigrated from Ghana. His father worked as a manager at a paint company, and his mother was a seamstress, an early influence that would later connect him to the world of fashion. He attended Boylan Catholic High School before moving on to study civil engineering at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. This academic path might seem far removed from the world of high fashion, but Abloh always had an eye for design and a fascination with culture. After earning his bachelor's degree, he went on to receive a Master of Architecture degree from the Illinois Institute of Technology in Chicago. It was during this time that he began to blend his structural training with his interest in art, fashion, and street culture, laying the foundation for his distinctive creative voice. One of the turning points in Virgil Abloh's early career came in the early 2000s when he met Kanye West, who would later become one of his most significant collaborators. Abloh interned at Fendi alongside West in 2009, and it was here that both men began to explore the idea of fusing luxury with streetwear. This collaboration was more than just mentorship. It was the beginning of a movement. Abloh's architectural background gave him a unique approach to design, seeing clothing not just as garments, but as structures, symbols, and statements. His understanding of form, space, and cultural semiotics allowed him to interpret fashion in a way that was simultaneously intellectual and accessible. Before launching Off-White, Virgil Abloh experimented with other creative projects. One of his earliest ventures was Pyrex Vision, a small but influential brand he started in 2012. Pyrex Vision became famous for taking dead-stock Ralph Lauren flannel shirts and screen printing the word Pyrex, along with the number 23, a nod to Michael Jordan. These shirts, which cost around $40 to source, were resold for several $100s, sparking debates about authenticity, art, and consumerism. Pyrex Vision was not simply a clothing brand. It was a cultural commentary on fashion, branding, and value. Abloh eventually shut it down, stating that the project was meant as an artistic experiment rather than a long-term brand. In 2013, Virgil Abloh officially launched Off-White, a brand based in Milan that would soon change the fashion world. Off-White was built around the idea of being the gray area between black and white. It was not purely streetwear, nor was it purely luxury. It was a fusion that challenged the distinctions between the two. The brand's name itself reflected this philosophy, suggesting a middle ground where new ideas could flourish, with bold graphics, quotation marks, diagonal stripes, and industrial belt motifs. Off-White quickly developed an instantly recognizable aesthetic. Off-White was more than just a clothing line. It was a cultural movement. The brand incorporated elements of art, architecture, music, and youth culture into its DNA. Abloh used his design language to ask questions about value, originality, and the meaning of fashion in contemporary society. He challenged conventions by applying quotation marks to words like shoes or jacket, forcing the wearer and the audience to consider the relationship between labels and objects. His use of industrial aesthetics, such as hazard stripes and utilitarian materials, brought an entirely new visual vocabulary to the luxury market. The success of Off-White was immediate and explosive. Celebrities, musicians, and athletes embraced the brand, making it a fixture in popular culture. Collaborations with Nike, IKEA, and even Rimowa cemented Off-White's position as a powerhouse that transcended traditional fashion boundaries. Each collaboration was not just a product release, but a cultural event, demonstrating Virgil Abloh's ability to merge high art, streetwear, and everyday life. His The 10 collection with Nike, where he deconstructed and reimagined iconic sneakers, became one of the most influential sneaker collaborations of all time. Virgil Abloh's rise through Off-White also represented a shift in fashion's center of gravity. For decades, European maisons had dictated what luxury meant, but Abloh brought American street culture into the luxury conversation. His work redefined luxury for a generation raised on hip-hop, skateboarding, and digital culture. Off-White blurred the line between exclusivity and accessibility, offering items that ranged from limited edition sneakers to graphic t-shirts that could be worn on the street. The recognition of Virgil Abloh's influence culminated in 2018 when he was named the artistic director of Louis Vuitton's menswear division, making him the first African American to lead a major French luxury fashion house. This historic appointment was not only a testament to his individual talent, but also a reflection of how Off-White had reshaped the fashion industry. Through Off-White, Abloh proved that fashion could be intellectual, ironic, and democratic while still maintaining the aura of luxury. The origins of Off-White are inseparable from the origins of Virgil Abloh himself. His background in engineering and architecture, his collaboration with Kanye West, his experiments with Pyrex Vision, and his cultural commentary through design all converged to form a brand that changed the language of fashion. Off-White was never just about clothing. It was about creating a dialogue between the streets and the runways, between youth culture and heritage institutions, between art and commerce. Even after his untimely passing in 2021, the legacy of Virgil Abloh and Off-White continues to influence designers, artists, and creatives around the world. His journey from Rockford to Milan to Paris exemplifies the power of vision, persistence, and cultural fluency. He transformed his architectural training into a fashion philosophy, his collaborations into cultural landmarks, and his brand into a global symbol of innovation. The story of Off-White is the story of a man who dared to redefine the rules of luxury by embracing the chaos, energy, and creativity of modern life. Virgil Abloh's origins remind us that innovation often comes from those who stand at the crossroads of different disciplines. By combining architecture, music, art, and fashion, he created something that was more than the sum of its parts. Off-White stands as a testament to his belief that fashion is not just about clothes, but about ideas, and that in the gray area between black and white, new worlds can be imagined.